What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Talkin Horror Special Episode 2. Currently joined by Michael Myers Reacts once again. And today we're going to be discussing Alfred Hitchcock's classic 1960s film Psycho. So, yeah, man, I want you to tell the audience mainly about your first experience with Psycho and your initial reactions to it.
See, Psycho was a movie that I saw later on in my life. I've been a horror fan since I was like 5. Psycho was something I probably seen when I was like maybe 16 or 17. And my first reaction to it, I knew I was going into it. I knew it was an Alfred Hitchcock film, but I didn't know what to expect because no one told me, like, hey, this happens in Psycho. The only thing I knew about Psycho was the iconic shower scene, which every horror fan knows. That's really all I knew about it. I didn't know about the twists that come later on in the film, which I'm sure we're going to talk about in the episode. So my reaction to the film was kind of like, wow. You know what I mean? Like, I was surprised on how much I enjoyed it and how little, like, you can know the shower scene, but that sure does not ruin Psycho for anybody because that's really not. Because a lot of people think, oh, well, Psycho's, I know what happens. This lady gets killed in the shower. It's the most iconic thing in horror. There's actually a lot more to the movie, a lot more twists and turns.
Exactly, man. And I'm kind of in the same scenario as you are before your first viewing of Psycho. The only thing I knew about the plot, basically, is that some woman got butchered in the shower. That's all that I knew about the plot. But again, there's so much more to this movie. And again, also the same age range. I think I was about 16 or 17 when I first seen it, so I was kind of a late bloomer. I wish I saw it a lot earlier, but
me too.
yes, Psycho is capable of giving people the creeps without showing any real blood or effects or actual gore.
Exactly.
It basically saves it up for the finale, which is something I really love, and it slowly builds tension up until the very end.
Mhm. Yeah, it's definitely a slow burn horror movie. As you were saying, it's not. It's still creepy to this day in 2020. I mean, I watched a scene earlier, the shower scene, of course, and when Norman is coming in there as his mom, but we don't know that at that point. That scene is creepy when the door just slowly opens and he walks up to the shower curtain.
Right,
That's just really
and you just see a silhouette.
Exactly.
Yeah. Also, what'd you think about a couple of the main characters? Like, what did you think about Marion Crane?
I thought she was a great character. Obviously, Janet Leigh plays her, which is Jamie Lee Curtis's mom, and she did great. She did great. That's really all I have to say. She did great. She's probably my favorite character in the movie.
Yeah, great actress as well, and
Very much a great actress.
yeah, and Hitchcock really broke the barrier with this movie because her character was killed off within like a third of the film.
Exactly. It was a twist. That's one of the shocks I was talking about because you would think that she was going to be the character who's throughout this whole movie. You know, she just survives the whole movie. And he killed her off, which is a ballsy move because, I mean, that was just unexpected at the time.
Right, and Wes Craven most definitely took inspiration for that, you know, with the whole thing with Neve Campbell's character, Sidney Prescott, in the Scream movies. But again, back to Marion Crane, you know, we're basically introduced to the sympathetic character, and then suddenly she goes off to steal $40,000, and, you know, her boss finds her at one point with that scene, you know, where she's in the car. She basically said she was sick, but she wasn't, and then her boss just kind of looks and sees her, which is actually very reminiscent of Pulp Fiction. Do you remember the one scene with Marcellus Wallace, where he catches? I know I'm getting off topic, but when he catches Bruce Willis's character, and he's like, "Motherfucker."
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that scene's hilarious.
Yeah, it's absolutely awesome. But anyways, back to Psycho. Hitchcock really achieved a sense of uncertainty as far as where the story is going to go next, and also sets a tone that no one is safe all around.
Yeah, exactly. The thing too with Psycho, you know, I think Psycho is the movie that kind of made horror what it was in the 70s and 80s, like with Halloween and stuff. Because Psycho is, you know, there wasn't a movie like Psycho by 1960. Like it was like a one of a kind movie.
Mm-hmm. Also, what I thought was interesting is the movie to me didn't feel so much like a slasher movie. It felt more like
Yeah.
a suspenseful detective like thriller because they're pretty
Hmm.
much trying to figure out where Marion Crane is located because at this point, everyone around her doesn't know that she's dead. Um,
Yeah.
Especially when we're introduced to like Marion Crane's sister Lila as well as Detective Arbogast that's trying to find her.
Yeah, I agree. It's not a slasher movie, but I do feel like it opened that door to what we kind of had in the 70s,
I agree.
80s. Yeah, I felt like it broke barriers, and like I said, it was like there was nothing like that. It opened a lot of doors for horror in general, and I think that's why that movie's so beloved by horror fans.
Mm-hmm. So what would be your particular favorite scene in this movie, or a couple scenes that come to mind?
My favorite scene is actually the scene where Marion and Norman are talking for the first time at Bates Motel,
Hmm.
and basically the scene where he says we all go a little mad sometime. That whole interaction with them two is just perfect.
Yeah, and what I love about that scene too, you brought up a really good point.
Hmm.
Is when basically Marion Crane decided last minute, as Norman was talking, she's like, you know what, maybe I should just go turn myself in. Maybe I should
Hmm.
return to Arizona and return the money. And that's
Yeah,
kind of a creepy factor because like she never got the opportunity to actually do that.
yeah, it's true.
Yeah. My favorite scene in particular is the cleanup scene after that took place after the shower scene.
Yeah,
Because the murder cleanup scene to me is the most intriguing and most distinct scene compared to any other horror movie scene we've seen prior to the release.
yeah, I
Um,
agree.
yeah, I mean, typically after a murder scene has occurred in like early early 50s horror films, the director would typically show it off screen
Yeah.
while omitting to the aftermath that took place, obviously. But however, in this film, both the murder and the cleanup aftermath are shown on screen, which really gives a sense of danger and realism. It's extremely slow but brilliant when Norman's like cleaning up the blood in the bathroom, and it almost feels as it was shot in real time since it's such a long and
Hmm.
dragging scene. And
Yeah.
yeah, overall, it just built up a lot of suspense and excitement because we don't know what Norman's thinking right now. He's probably rushing. Like, you know how he was rushing at such a fast pace? It kind of made me nervous in a way. Like, are the cops going to come? And I was questioning myself, all these things.
Yeah, I agree. That scene is very different. You don't see it felt like one big shot. Like the murder happens, the cleanup happens. I see what you mean. It's like one big shot. It's not like it's, oh, well, this happened and then we'll cut back to that. It's like like it's real time, as you said. It feels like you're there in the movie watching what's going on. And another thing with the character of Norman Bates, like as soon as you meet that character, you kind of know something's up with him. And like, you know what's creepy? It's so disturbing that he did the killing, but he came back like he didn't do it.
Right.
That's freaky.
It is freaky, man. I completely agree. And when I first saw this film, especially during the cleanup scene, I
Hmm.
got more and more anxious, like I mentioned before, because since he was moving at the quick pace that he did, I figured that he
Yeah.
knew the cops were going to arrive and question him right after.
Yeah.
I was really anticipating, hearing the police sirens.
Hmm.
However, that didn't happen until much later on when he got a visit from Detective Arbogast and started questioning
Yeah.
him, which was very, very interesting to see on screen.
That's a very like uncomfortable scene because you can
Very
tell that
uncomfortable.
like he even knew the officer even knew what was his name again.
Detective Arbogast.
Yeah, he kind of knew something was up. You know what I mean? Because Norman was like kind of changing his like thing. He was like, "Oh yeah, she was here," or this. It was like, "Come on, dude," like he knew something was up.
Yeah, and when Arbogast is questioning Norman Bates and where
Hmm.
Marion Crane is located, supposedly, you can
Yeah,
see Norman getting more and more nervous in his facial
yeah,
expressions. You can see him
like,
chewing his candy corn faster.
yeah.
His speech starts to slur, and then he starts to change his story.
Exactly. And then like when they're about done talking, and he's kind of like, "Oh well, let me speak to your mother because you might have forgot." He's kind of like, "No, I'm done talking with you." Like he's trying to cut him off really quick.
Hmm. So yeah,
It's
automatically
creepy.
you know something's up with Norman, which I really love.
Exactly.
Such great acting by Anthony Perkins.
It really, yeah, great actor.
Yeah. Um, and again, like I mentioned before, the thing that really stuck out to me the most was how Marion was planning to return to Arizona because that shows character development because she was planning to do
Hmm.
something sneaky. She got caught. Well, I feel like Norman knew something was up with her,
Yeah,
you know, because
yeah, for sure.
yeah, there's just something about it. Like he knew something was up because he knew that she was running away from something, but he wasn't sure what.
Yeah, that's why he asked her. He was like, "What are you running from?"
Mm-hmm. And that poor $40,000 that was thrown away. He didn't even know. It would have been so
It makes
funny
you
if he.
wonder though, like, what if she did leave and go back? I wonder how much the story would have changed. Like, what would Psycho have been? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
Very so many ways you can think about it. It's like, what would have happened? Would he have followed her, or like that would have been weird?
Or what would have happened if he actually found the $40,000? What would he do?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. There's so many things. It's like, what would happen if this happened?
Mm-hmm. And yeah,
Very weird.
um, I mean, this movie is such a classic, and the thing that
Hmm.
disappoints me the most is how a remake was even made. The one that came out in the 1990s.
Yeah,
Like, there's no reason to do a remake of such a beloved film unless the original has lost, like, its potency.
yeah. That's what I was about to say. Psycho is one horror movie that even to this day doesn't need like it's still so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
Like it doesn't it's aged very well. Like yes, it's an old movie. It's 1960, but you can show it to a horror like any new horror fan. You can show it to them, and I'm sure they would at least enjoy it in some form or fashion.
of course, man. And back to the thing with the remake. I just feel that there's
Hmm.
no point in doing a shot for shot remake. Like, what is the point of that? I feel like it's just a waste of production money. If you're just gonna completely copy it, like even the actors in that
Yeah,
movie were copying the mannerisms of the original characters. It's like, why not change it up? Why not make it different? And and I feel like this movie will always be great in black and white. I feel like if this movie
hmm,
was in color, I think it would still be good since it's under Alfred Hitchcock's vision, but it wouldn't be as good as black and white.
yeah. I agree. Like I was saying earlier, we were talking about this. I was like, what if they took the original Psycho and you know put it in color? I feel like it would feel different. It only feels right in black and white because that's what it is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a black and white film.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the last thing I really wanted to mention was the camera work in this film.
Yeah,
Absolutely excellent. I love the
it
long
is.
shots of the house
Yep.
and the motel, and I also love the scene where Marion Crane is finally alone in the motel room and she pulls the money out of her bag and starts searching. Well, she finds the money at one point, hides it in the newspaper. Hitchcock holds the camera on her for like a very long time, and then it cuts away
Hmm.
when she finally decides to wrap the money in the newspaper. So I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah, it was shot very well, and also the Psycho House is super iconic in like horror in general. Like almost anybody knows what the Psycho House is if you're a horror fan at
Yeah,
least.
I actually had the opportunity to see where it was filmed in Universal Studios because that's where it's held.
Oh, nice.
Very, very cool. It's actually funny because they had like the. Are you're familiar with the Grinch, right? Obviously.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they had like the Whoville right beside it, so it was kind of weird. I wish it wasn't placed there, but
yeah.
it's
That's a
literally
weird
placed.
placement.
Yeah, it's like placed right next to it. But it was cool. It was really cool seeing the house up close. Like I really
Yeah,
wanted to
I
just
bet,
get
dude. That would be
pictures, but
awesome.
uh, they took us on like a little cart, so obviously I couldn't get out. But I wish I could have taken a pic of the house up close. That would have been
Yeah,
really cool.
if I could visit like three places, it would be the Myers house, the Nightmare on Elm Street house, and the Psycho house for sure.
Agreed, man. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. What about you?
Yeah, man, I'm good.
All right, guys. So that is going to conclude the video. Really hope you guys enjoyed. We got a lot of talking horror videos coming up real soon over on his channel, and then obviously the talking horror specials on my channel. And yeah, we're gonna collaborate a lot more and upload some more for you guys. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you later with some more videos.